To Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin, and today I have my special guest back, who's also a dear friend, wonderful, talented musician, sound designer, and we now do sound baths together and make albums, which is what we're going to talk about today. This is John Sully Sullivan.
Hi. So good to always be in your presence. Love this for the second time, so I'm very, very happy to
Yeah,
come back.
the second or third.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. We did one at
The studio.
the other studio,
Yeah.
and then we did one downstairs, and now we've rearranged. Look at the furniture, isn't it so nice? We actually just arranged the pillows, and we have the
Got
table
everything.
arranged.
We just arranged
Yeah.
everything. It's fantastic.
So this is our new podcast space. So today I wanted to talk about. So I have just recently started talking about making music, and I've been sharing it in little breadcrumbs online and then talking about it on the podcast. And this year is my Saraswati year, and I thought that, very naively by the way, that my Saraswati year was just going to be me playing and just like carefree and no stress. And I don't know, this year and a half has been one of the most challenging for me, because music is something I've felt inside of me for a long time. I've been chanting in my yoga studio for a long time. Collaboration with other musicians started happening a few years ago. You're one of the first people that I collaborated with, which was awesome. And it just, I'm nervous. I have to, every time I show up to band practice, every time we would have a music lesson, every time, certainly performing live on stage, I have this big fear that comes up in me that makes me want to run and hide. But then at the same time, I have this sort of other Erin that's like, you need to share your voice, and this is part of your dharma. And luckily, even though it's so uncomfortable, I listen to that other voice, and that has allowed me, along with really good people, you being one of the primary ones, being able to share my voice in this way. So yeah, this whole process of creating an album with you has been a little emotional roller coaster.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it happens to all of us. But maybe I could add, again, this is inquiry, so I could be totally off, but maybe that, emotional roller coaster was already there, and hence the desire to make music.
That, I think that is actually accurate, because
Welcome to the club.
but it is, if I reframe it in that way, and that's actually pretty beautiful. It is a technology through which I can access myself and channel this energy and see this aspect of me. And I think it was so raw and vulnerable and real, hence the cover of the album, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. And by the way, it's pretty much all done, so should be released you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast. The album's probably going to be out maybe a week or two after you listen to this. So we'll include some links to where you can grab that music. But the cover of the album is very vulnerable, and it's me blossoming and expressing. And the title of the album, Shraddha, which is a journey of faith, that the next stone is going to appear, that if you follow your dharma and you follow with the guidance of that inner light, and you surrender to it, there is a releasing of the ego, and there is a deep trust that you have to have with yourself and with spirit, and even the people around you a little bit, that spirit put them in your path. And so it's been a huge leap of faith. And I can go into the dimensions of my life and everything like that. It's kind of, my life has been Shraddha. But this album definitely exemplifies it. So, And, being on this journey with you has been a leap of faith too, because again, uncomfortable to show up, but you're so compassionate as a teacher. And you would also always look at the bright side of things and the positivity, that it made it feel very safe for me. Like I could make mistakes. So that was very powerful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some of the most incredible ideas come out of mistakes.
Make it a happy little tree.
So they are positive to me. It's not even
Mm.
necessarily having to transform them. They come out that way. But that's what I think I bring a little bit, is
You
the
do.
idea of that, music is a source. So anything that's a source is leading you in the right direction, right? So if the source of music leads you to the source, then like you said, that's the whole process of using it as a technology to get
Yeah.
to source.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I don't do it for any other reason. The whole reason why I do music is because it brings me to the source.
Well, that's why I think you're so committed and
Yes.
heartfelt. Is like it's. I don't want to say it's easy to do it when you have that, but it's like the motivation's there, like because you want that relationship with God, you want to have that nourishment, and that allows you to have a
And
full bounty harvest.
yeah, and it's something I would die for.
Mm.
Like, I would
I
die
feel
for it.
I feel the sincerity
Yeah.
in that. Yeah.
So music I know, is the window. So I do everything I can to protect it.
Mm.
Anything I can hold to share, anything I can gain from the past, anything I can acknowledge in the present, and anything I can imagine in the future is all based on where the music is going, because the
Mm.
music is the source.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so I want to thank you for your courage, for throwing your music into the pool, the
Oh,
ocean, the universe, right? So that's what you're doing, right? It's a massive wave, and you're just throwing your sparks into it.
yeah. It just, I don't know. It just felt like it was the right time to come out. There was a lot of grief, a lot of life transition and change, and I feel like obsession has its place. And especially if it's like God guided obsession.
Mm.
Maybe there's a different word for that. I don't know, driven, but obsession seems appropriate because you can't think about other things. You're like really fixated and associated with it. And I started becoming a little bit obsessed with it. And I think a very healthy way, because it helped me to get stuck energy that was in my heart and in my body, like moving
Mm-hmm.
with the power of my voice. And then, through lessons with you, I learned how to like modulate my voice and you know, use my heightened interoception and apply it in that way. And I think that I was nervous because it didn't necessarily come too naturally to me, like certain things. I really had to work for it.
Mm.
So I really had to trust that there was something on the other end of that, I guess, and then allow myself to be guided, allow the mistakes, but the whole journey kind of opened up different parts of me.
Mm.
And we were saying earlier, I love this quote. I say it all the time. Is like spirituality is in the practice. So it was like taking my spiritual lessons and applying them in different ways, and then using the tools that I have to like steady and solidify them. But it took a lot of practice. I
Yeah.
guess I'm naturally usually off the cuff pretty good at things, and I feel like music is something I had to work a little extra hard for, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I had support. And another thing that your presence allowed this, and this helped me, is like I feel like maybe this is just the thought. It's like I feel like I have to be good at stuff right away.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's like, okay, I have to be like taking care of my business. I have to be like, there's so many things. So if I'm not excelling at this, then I need to spend my time elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So with music, like there were some nights where I listened to like my singing and I'm like, oh, kind of sucked. It was just like an off night or something. But then I started having like affection for it, like saying like, and seeing why, like, oh, I was stressed that night. I was dehydrated. Um, whatever. I had a tough conversation or something beforehand. Oh, I forgot to do this technique. And I started looking at it with more compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole process has invited me to look at music different. So when we talk about the album, like there's 5 songs, so it's technically an EP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started, listening over and over and over again to my songs because I had to make sure like I liked everything and there were certain parts we needed to tweak. I started really noticing the layers
Mm-hmm.
and how layered everything is in each song. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty incredible. So, Sully has laid in their solfeggio beats, different like sort of electrical pulses. Like it's pretty wild and it's kind of built baked in. And then there's like layers of like the bass, the guitar, like drums, like so I guess I'd love for you to share like what that process is
Yeah,
because
it
it's
was
like
very
it's like
specific.
yeah, different layers and it just all like when you hear it, it flows together so beautifully.
Yeah,
But like you get to look at it, it's sort of like pulling apart the anatomy, like okay, the humerus bone is here, the femur is here, the thorax is here. You
yeah,
get to deconstruct and then put it back together.
yeah.
So I'm curious about that process and then even maybe like your state, like when you go into that zone.
Yeah, well, I love that second half of the question, and I wasn't even going there, but I almost
I'll
want to
take you
start.
there.
Yeah, well, so I have many different processes, right? Especially if I'm making music just for myself, like something that like you're making your music, same thing when that comes to me, something comes to me in a dream or whatever, and I want to create that is going to be different than something that I'm doing for like a theatrical presentation or something that has some other kind of application specifically based on the sound design or the music. So all those are different processes. But I notice for myself, because it's also my observation, just like what you're doing, like you're looking at it, like how can that be better? How can you do those things? I'm doing the same thing, right? Exactly the same. It's always a progression. Like
Mm.
what's really once you start to get into music, you tap into the infinity of source because that first one has to happen, but it's an embryo.
Mm.
So you have to go through the embryonic phase. And that's kind of what I've been through, so I'm able to share that as you go through yours, going almost like a midwife going.
That's kind of how it feels.
So you got a little pain, a little aches there, and a little gas.
Punching, yeah.
We got a little gas going on, and I'm just there saying it's going to be
It's gonna be
okay.
all
It's going
right.
to, and it'll be born.
Yeah.
But you got to go through that process, and then you do your best to raise it. And part of like the next, so that's why it's an EP. I hope we do the album, and then you connect it
Oh yeah, I
together.
already have like
Yeah,
four
so
or five songs
exactly.
kind of in the
So
cooker. So
so obviously my process is different. But when it comes to working with people, because I do produce people, when it comes to working with them, I do find that there is a process that's particular if I'm doing that. And when I think about it, it's when the word produce, I think of pro, right, in front of it, as opposed to con.
mm.
And then deuce, I think of deuce, like two.
I love that.
So like pro duo,
I'm
right?
gonna go into Publix in the produce section. I'm gonna think of you.
Produce.
Produce.
Two mangoes, two
Exactly.
watermelons,
Deuce.
two melons, the deuce.
Deuce.
Yeah. So I think of that. How can I get the duo, right? How can I collaborate and how can we make that pro? Like, how is the coming together the main important thing? So
Mm.
you're you're just feeding my knowledge. So I have knowledge of how to do recordings and software and editing systems. So I have all that knowledge, but I just open that up and let you pour your ideas into that, and then through that, it gets. I think of me like a filter. Right? You're just putting a Sully filter on it that
I
goes
love the
through.
Sully filter. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your big picture of what that is, and then I'm kind of framing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, thank you.
yeah.
You're very humble.
Uh,
So can you like talk a little bit about like I guess where your brain goes, or maybe there's whatever process it is, like when you're overlaying the music, because like the bass and then the guitar and like okay the gong's gonna go here, like oh the cartals are gonna go here,
yeah.
like how does that do you just know it, or?
Yeah, so there, I just know it. Unless I just know it, unless
I
I,
knew
yeah,
it.
unless I don't know it. So that's the process. If I don't know it, I don't know it. But when I know it, I know it.
Now go out there and do it. We just
Yeah.
gave you a user's manual. Come
So
on, people.
ultimately, I know it, but I have a bunch I don't know it till I get to the I know it.
I
Does
like
that
that.
make sense?
Yeah, totally. Who's on first? Who's on first? Yeah.
So yes, so I know ultimately I know it. And then what I know isn't ultimately important because I have to get to the phase of where you know it. Right?
Mm,
That's where the duo comes in, or the deuce comes in. Because if it's just me, then I just go with what I know it, right? So
mm,
that's my openness and vulnerability, that I know you're going to know what you're going to know, and I trust that. And then that's how it becomes the conversation between the two trustings. And I'm super confident of that because some of my favorite music that I love, so much of the mystery is out now because you can just hear everything on the internet. So I actually know of collaborators that talk about, oh yeah, like I would have totally done it different, and if I didn't collaborate with that person, and I think, oh my God, I wouldn't change a thing of that. But the two people that created the thing would say, oh, I would have totally done it
mm,
different. So that just makes me go, oh, I have to totally have faith in it. That's what they're doing.
mm,
They know that the big picture is the coming, the Trinity. It's all about the dot, the line. We speak about this, and then when you connect it, that connecting that dot and the line is making the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's the electrical connection.
mm.
Just like you got three in the plug right here. So that's what I do. I plug in and we turn that alchemy into electronic
Mm,
pulses that we put into a computer. And then you're asking how I layer it. That's all part of that. It's all
mm,
layer. Like it starts with a layer. The duo itself starts. In this case, we started with your voice.
mm,
I wanted to really critique it. And
mm,
that's why you really had a rough time,
mm.
because I really zeroed in on your voice. I zeroed right in. So you're like, whoa.
It was good though. Yeah,
Yes,
good
yes.
lessons.
Because I want everything to grow from the voice. So
Mm,
that's what the layers are. So I think once I had your voice produced in a way that I wanted it to be, and you agreed and you were there with it, I took all that and everything was an echo from it.
mm,
So that's where the layers come from. Like I would just take the lyric, the inflection, and whatever emotion that was conveyed from it, and then just added what I believed sound wise would
really?
be emotional.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. So this is so, we're doing this podcast episode, but like these are things that I didn't know, like
Yeah.
as far as like his process of how my voice influenced your production, I guess.
Oh, the only thing that influenced the production. And that goes not just your recorded voice, your voice in person, your voice on the phone, everything
Oh,
that you
I do
interject.
I do feel like it was very accurate when I
Yeah.
listened to the songs. I mean, there's the one song that we had to kind of change up a little bit, but one thing I really love about the album is like each song is so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is like an Indian flair. It is Sanskrit mantras that I'm chanting, and the title of the album is Shraddha, and it's all Sanskrit words, and I've been chanting these mantras for over a decade, and there's a certain power to them, a certain emotion that's evoked, and then with like your sort of like it's almost like you amplified my voice and helped to create a container.
Yeah.
When I listen to my own songs, I feel like high by the time, I mean, like in a good way, like I can still drive, but man, am I in a good mood.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And I
great.
started playing it in my yoga teacher trainings. I started playing it at the gym. We went to that open mic and they were playing it, and people were getting up and just ecstatically dancing. There's one homeboy in the front that I don't know if he was on LSD mushrooms or he was just feeling my music. Let's
Take
just
what
say
we can
that.
get.
I'm saying he was like in this trance, and I was performing, and you play all the instruments. Were you on drums or were you on guitar?
Oh, that night
Yeah, that
I was
night.
on guitar, but I had a sampler with me that I was drumming on the guitar, so a little bit of both.
That's
So
so
I would
funny.
make a drum loop on the guitar, hit the looper, and then play the
This
guitar
is
over
Sully, right? Yeah.
it.
So
It's a really boomy guitar. I have it here. We can show it later. I brought it with me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's
that
all over the record too.
is it.
Yeah, so a lot of the binaural beats that are in there is that. So I would do a performance where I'm
Yeah.
tapping the guitar. I have a pickup mic that's on the guitar, and I love it as a drum. Just has and I can, depending on what the key of the tune is, I can find a different pitch of the drum. So just by adding that drum and then by slightly detuning it, because there's a sustain of the guitar, it's got the sustain,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
but it's
mm-hmm.
not like in the diatonic key of Western music. It's like a
Mm.
drum tone.
Yeah.
And I just let that go and I just pull that off a little bit, and then that, boom, you're in the binaural right
Yeah.
there.
It's
But it's really low in the mix. It's just there to give like a pulse.
yeah.
And then there's digital tricks that I do that make it affect the music.
But there is a healing vibration, and I don't want to talk too much about this, not that it could be a whole like 3 episode podcast about Meta 7,
Oh, right.
and just like the healing work that you've
Yes.
done
Yeah, yeah.
through like visual and audio, like whole like experiential, essentially sound bath before we had the sound baths we have now.
Yeah.
But there's like certain frequency that the album has that when you listen to it, it elevates you. And so, as far as putting this out, like I think I had one idea as far as like when I started recording my voice and we started this process of making the album. And I think it kind of like took on a whole like life of its own. And I think the album has like an even bigger reason now as far as like helping again raise the frequency. Like that wasn't necessarily like the main original mission, though it was like in like the top 3, but now it's like the main thing. Like I just want to get it out there. So if you're listening to this, the album is Shraddha, and it is produced and music designed and
So you can say sound
sound
design.
design. I'm on vocals, and the cover art is a mixture of me, Sully, and the photographer. Her name is Melissa Robinson. She's very talented, and I just want to say, I'm grateful to my teachers in India for helping to like sharpen my skill with some mantra. Ray Capo, Raghunath, and Bobby Monchard. I may have said her name a little bit off. And some of my other teachers over in India. It was hugely impactful. My studio for just having the best acoustics.
Oh, right. I completely forgot that that's also.
We recorded in my studio.
Yeah, so that also, so I changed a little bit.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
reverting
okay.
my
Yep.
what I said last time. Thank you for reminding me. I totally forgot about that. So I said everything in your voice. Well, I guess in a way it is your voice. So also a big voice of the record is the studio.
Yeah.
Because we also record. It's hard to track back to what we were talking earlier about. Just the tracking of the studio itself was a big part of the ambience that's there, that also I played with as far as using that to make frequencies. So maybe that's also something that's kind of hitting you in a way, because through digital trickery, we could make instruments out of any sound. So that's all over.
That's interesting because there's been so much healing in that studio, so many awakenings,
So much air in that studio. So that's all over the recording, all over.
So all the frequencies. So if you love this podcast, you've been listening to me. Like I have super fans on here, and I'm so grateful for y'all. I love it when I get an email from you just saying, "Hey, Erin, like whatever is going on in your life." The energy of like the last 12 years of my life is really in this album. So I didn't even think about that. It's just, these podcasts are also cathartic for myself, and I think Sully as well.
Oh, totally.
So, well, we can certainly, and we probably will record another podcast on this. I appreciate your time.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah.
You reminded me of so many things I forgot.
Remember, bring the members back together, right? So again, the album is going to be out on Spotify and other major platforms I'll probably have a way to donate if you want to donate, but I really just want the music to get out there. The music is fun to play in a yoga class. It's also fun if you're going to like ecstatic dance. It's kind of perfect for that, again, because of the frequencies that are layered in. And the mantra themselves, like they're pretty simple. Like you start chanting them, and I think they're pretty catchy. You just kind of like let the mantra work through you, and it will start to change you. So all the good frequencies are in this album. So I really hope that you enjoy. And yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much, Sully. Always a pleasure. And have a great week. Namaste.